Welcome into my world. You're playing my game. Thought that you could come up and they're fitting off of my name. Talking out the side of your neck like you're insane. Cortisol levels to the roof, inflame. Kids these days so shameless, selling out real friends for a paycheck. Mama didn't teach them no home training. Wanna be me so bad, but they failing. Step to the plate though. I'll take a challenger. I ain't scared of no low life scavenger. I should warn you though, if you haven't heard, I ain't no Colleen ukulele ballager. Shots been fired. Run and tell that. Say it to my face though. Now behind my back. Won't be long till you share it in the group chat. And when I call you up, you're gonna backtrack. And you should've kept my name out your mouth. That's me though, how it all turned out. When you try to use my name for clout, keep on going, give me something you can talk about. Good morning. Hello. Hi. How are you doing this fine Wednesday, February 11th, 2026? I am very tired. I am very, very tired. I do not like going to sleep at night past my bedtime, and I was up way past my bedtime last night, and it just makes me tired the whole next day. So there are some updates. There are some updates to report on the Nancy Guthrie case. Okay. The last time we spoke was feels like just a few couple hours ago, and they had detained a potential subject in the Nancy Guthrie investigation. They detained a potential subject. Okay. So now this morning we have a lot of information about this subject, this potential subject. I don't know if he's even considered to be a subject anymore. However, he has been released. Okay. There have also been some interviews that I want to talk to y'all about. So let's just start here at the New York Post. If I can get through it without having a freaking seizure. It's like you can't even damn scroll on this website without stuff jumping out from the bushes behind text and everything else, and sometimes it's weird stuff. Okay, this is from an hour ago, so let's just start there. Delivery driver detained over Nancy Guthrie's kidnapping insists he's never heard of her or Today host Savannah. The delivery driver briefly detained over Nancy Guthrie's kidnapping insisted that he has never heard of the missing lady or her famous daughter. Never until today, he said. He said, I don't know anything. Despite the intense media coverage, he said he had to Google Nancy's name after being questioned over her disappearance. And his name is being released as Carlos Palazuelos. Sorry, I don't really be speaking Spanish, but shout out to the Spanish-speaking cousins in the chat. I know I have a lot of them. Palazuelos. Palazuelos. I don't know. Is it Zuelos or Zuelos? Anyway, so Carlos is his name. We'll call him that. Delivery driver detained, released after several hours. This is another New York Post article. What the F am I doing here? And he did do some interviews. We're going to watch. We get some more information about him other than his name, and that is that he is a delivery driver. Not only is he a DoorDash delivery driver, but he claims and he states that in interviews that he works for a company called, let me not say the wrong thing, GLS. I do have a web here too. Maybe we can look at that later. But he claims to work for a company called GLS, and I did look that company up. I will just show y'all their website. It is a parcel delivery. It's kind of like a DHL type of thing, it seems like. GLS. I don't know. It's apparently like more like a West Coast type of delivery thing. So it seems he also drives delivery for DoorDash. I think that's kind of like, what I am putting together here. So he's just like a delivery driver. He seems to have like a couple different maybe gigs, maybe jobs. Now, the last time we spoke, they hadn't even told us what this man's name was. They hadn't told us why they picked him up. And while we now do know what his name is, and we now do know to some extent why they picked him up. I mean, they picked him up for questioning. He don't even know why they picked him up. He's like, I have no idea. I don't know why they picked me up. He said he was frustrated after authorities detained him, and I can imagine, if especially if he's telling the truth, which I have no reason to necessarily believe he isn't. Everybody is innocent until proven guilty, and I just know, without getting too into things, um, there's a lot going on right now in that area of the world, in that area, close to the border, and there's a lot of, I think, I'll say this, there's a lot of valid concerns, and there's also a lot of hysteria, and certain people are getting treated certain ways, and that I'm not even trying to be cryptic or vague here. It is true. It's like certain people are. It's like certain groups of individuals who may be considered to be maybe like immigrants or something like that have been, facing a hard time. And again, I really truly do not, if there's any mods in the chat, if people get too carried away arguing about this bullshit in my chat, just block them from my channel, because this is not the place to do it. This isn't the place to argue about it. I'm just so sorry. This is my channel and this is not the place to argue about it. But I am just saying, from a human empathy perspective, I can understand how it would be pretty, of course, I've never been in a situation, but it would be pretty terrifying in times like these to just be like pulled over by the SWAT team and then brought somewhere over something you never heard about. Now that being said, the FBI does be doing just crazy stuff. They really do. But at the same time, I mean, there's a lot of eyes on them. So it does make me wonder, and it does beg the question, exactly what they thought they were going to get out of this guy. Because when he is doing his interviews, and also his mother-in-law did a few interviews, maybe one, and it's just been recirculated. When he's doing these interviews, I find him to be pretty believable. But a lot of liars are believable. So again, this is me not taking a stance one way or another. I'm just kind of talking about what the two different, sides could be, or two different, types of opinions that could emerge here. But nevertheless, the authorities have released him. Okay. He says, quote, "They held me against my will. They didn't even read me my rights until 2 hours later." Oh my goodness. And see, this is another one of those things where it's like, on the one hand, I am sympathetic to that. I'm like, that's unconstitutional. They should have read him his rights instantly. Um, and yeah, it was unconstitutional. So even if they were able to find something, I don't know if they could even use it against him or against anybody that they don't read their Miranda rights. And reading the rights is like, you have the right to remain silent. Anything you say will be held against you, blah, 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 da, da, da. The man claims his wrists were left swollen from the handcuffs. And that sucks. Standing outside his home in Rio Rico, a tiny border community roughly 60 miles south of Tucson, he cried out his innocence after being released. This is him. "What the F am I doing here? I didn't do anything. To be honest, I'm innocent." The man says he was riding in a car with his wife when they noticed law enforcement vehicles trailing them. They decided to pull over. Carlos hopped out of the car. So that doesn't sound like a traffic stop to me. He's saying, "I decided to pull over. I saw them behind me," but I don't know, was it a decision to pull over, or was it like the sirens on? It's a little ambiguous, but the way it's being said is like he didn't get pulled over. He just pulled over himself. It's like, what do you want? He said he works in Tucson for a parcel delivery service, but he doesn't recall ever encountering Nancy Guthrie, who was reported missing on February 1st. "I told them I work in Tucson for GLS. I might have delivered a package to her house, but I never kidnapped anybody. They held me from 4 p.m. until now." He said he told investigators that he had never heard of Nancy or her daughter, Savannah, and he doesn't watch the news. "I hope they get the suspect," he says, "because I'm not it. And they better do their job and find the suspect that did it so I can clear my name. I'm done," he said. I don't blame him. Y'all, especially if it's true. Again, I don't know. I don't know him. I don't know him from Adam. Usually I don't think the FBI just goes like to places 60 miles away from the place where they're looking and randomly arrest people. I think it's probably somebody must have put in a tip or something, but that doesn't mean he's guilty. It doesn't mean he did anything. But so, I mean, if he really didn't, poor thing. He said he wasn't given a reason why officials sought him out in the investigation, and no charges were filed against him. While he was in police custody, authorities began searching his home, which he shares with his wife, his children, and his in-laws. He said, it wasn't known what officials were looking for, but Palazuelos, this is Carlos, the guy that they arrested and then let go, he claimed police broke down the front door and garage doors. Oh, my Lord. He said, look what they put my family through, pointing to the front door. They showed me a video to see if it was him or if I recognized the things he was wearing. He doesn't have any of that, the mother-in-law said. He doesn't have anything that comes in the video. She said they went inside, they busted the doors in my house. They went inside, they took my son to the living room. She said she was not familiar with the Nancy Guthrie case, and she had only seen the news on Facebook, but she really hadn't closely followed the story. They already asked us a lot of questions about it, she said. Like I said, I have nothing to hide. You can go in my house. You can search anything you want. There's nothing to hide. I don't know the lady. I don't know about the lady. They did take the car. They towed Carlos's car, but apparently they did bring it back to the family's home later. Earlier Tuesday, the FBI released photos of a masked, armed individual caught on video tampering with a doorbell camera outside the elder Guthrie's home on the morning of her disappearance. The suspect seemed to have a flashlight in his mouth. That's what I thought as well. And lumbered around Nancy's patio in sneakers, a fleece, and a backpack as he fumbled with the camera. I don't know if it was a fleece or just a regular quarter zip. At one point, he grabbed nearby flowers and placed them in front of the lens. A handgun was clearly seen holstered in the front of his pants. Okay, so let me pull up the next article. Or the next... No, that one I do just about. I might have already read y'all this one. Let me see. Yeah, we just read that one. I got my little notes here, but I could probably, there's room for improvement on my organization of my notes before these videos start. Okay, so now what I want to do is bring y'all over to the interview that we got Brian Enton back. Brian, you're up. Was done with Nancy, not Nancy, with Carlos's mother-in-law. She's the homeowner, and Brian Enton did get this interview.
I'm outside the house that is now being searched where this subject lived, we're told. There was a traffic stop close by. This is the subject being questioned in the Nancy Guthrie investigation. This is Josephina. Yes. This is her house, and the subject is her son-in-law. Yeah, is that right? Yeah. Tell me how this happened. Where was he when he was detained?
My daughter and him and the kids, my grandkids, were doing door dashing when they got stopped here. And
they were all door dashing. The daughter... So it's her. So this is Carlos's mother-in-law. So Carlos's wife's mother and the grandmother of Carlos, the maternal grandmother of Carlos' children. So she's saying Carlos, the kids, and her daughter, who's Carlos' wife and children's mother, were all in the car together doing DoorDash. So the kids were in the car when they got pulled over, apparently, or whenever they pulled over.
What kind of questions they asked them. But when we got home, I wasn't at home. When we got home, we found out that they took my son out. They went inside, they busted the doors from my house. They went inside and took my son to the living room and had him handcuffed and then got him outside. That's when
when she's saying they took my son to the living room and handcuffed him and all that, that isn't Carlos. That isn't the subject or this potential subject that's now released. That is her son. So I don't know how old the son is in relation to the daughter or what. I'm really not exactly sure. But just to be clear, when she says they took my son to the living room, handcuffed him, that's not Carlos.
What was going on, and they couldn't say anything. And they said, and I asked him to have a search warrant to go in my house. And they said, we don't need a search warrant. We could go do that if we want to. So I told them, yeah, I think you need a search warrant. why did you break my door? You took my son the wrong way. I mean, you hurt him.
Where'd they say DoorDash though? Several places. First of all, she just said it in the interview. Second of all, they said it. Hold on. I just read it. Where was it? Hold on, let me look it up. She just said it. That's one place, but I definitely read it in one of the articles we read just now. Hold on. Delivery driver, not till today. Delivery driver, Carlos. DoorDash right here. New York Post. Delivery driver detained in Nancy Guthrie abduction investigation released several hours after several hours in custody. An Arizona DoorDash driver. Where did they DoorDash? I don't know. They were in Rio Rico, and that's where they live. That's where they live. It's bad profiling, they're saying. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I just don't know. And that's where I want to be very careful. Like, there's definitely a part of me that wants to say, you know, this is like totally racist profiling. There's definitely a part of me that wants to say that. But there's also a part of me that wants to say, with all the eyes and all the attention internationally on this story, they had to go off something more than some little tip. Like, they had to have like an eye pupil measurer, and maybe their little machine don't work or something. But even both of those different ends of like the argument spectrum, I have no idea. What I do know for sure is people who are good at committing crimes are also good at lying. So just because I, you know, feel an empathy and a sympathy for this guy, and a lot of us, we have empathy and sympathy because we project. We project onto other people what we would do, or what we think is right, or what we think a good person or an ordinary person would do. But a lot of people are not doing what we would do. So I'm going to be very careful over here myself right now with no information at all other than what we've had. I'm not going to get too far emotional on one way or the other just yet. I'm going to let this play out a little more. However, that being said, if it is the case that he was just totally unfairly profiled, I mean, I think you should sue him. I think you should sue him. These people don't have nothing else to do. They didn't even ask these other neighbors for anything. The Pima County Sheriff apparently never asked anyone in Tommaso and Annie's neighborhood for any DoorDash footage. I mean, sorry, Ring camera footage, but they have, you know, time to go down an hour outside of town just to get some random delivery guy. I mean, ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. Okay, let's get back to her interview here.
Sorry, with the handcuffs.
Let me ask you, were you familiar with the Nancy Guthrie?
No. Okay,
case?
this is
Had you seen that
interesting.
she was
Okay.
missing?
So we do have, I want to report on this too. We have a little bit of conflicting information. This lady is saying that they told her they didn't have a warrant to search her house. Now there are certain circumstances where a warrantless search is allowed. Some circumstance like that would be if there was credible, not only articulable, but like specific, credible from a known source. You cannot do it from an anonymous source. That someone their life is in danger. So if somebody were to say, call and say, hi, my name is such and such, my Jane Doe, or not Jane Doe, you know, like, but a real name, you know, Jane Washington, and my license plate number is this, or my driver's license number is this. I live at this address, and my daughter is dating this guy. I know because I heard him say he has Nancy Guthrie in his room. And my daughter saw it, and here's a picture. Okay, if all of that is happening and it's 12 o'clock at night, you do not need a warrant. You can go in that house. Now, that's kind of like a very extreme, you know, example. All the way to warrantless searches are completely unconstitutional. You cannot ever do them. And these things are all constructs, right? They all have to go through court and go through the Supreme Court. But in this case, I don't think it would have to go to to the Supreme Court, because what's being reported is that they did have a warrant. So I don't know if they didn't have a warrant and they told her they didn't. They did have a warrant and they told her they didn't need one because they were in there. It's what's called exigent circumstances. It's called exigent circumstances. If someone's life is in danger and you have credible, real evidence, it can't be a hunch. It can't be an anonymous tip. It has to be real, credible, specific evidence. And it really is supposed to be in emergency situations. Like, there was this one, like, let's say that the cops can hear somebody screaming from the basement, help me. You don't need a warrant. You just go, in. And then, from there, it's kind of up to the cops and then eventually up to a judge. But in this case, what was said, I don't think this is fair, really, Danny. I mean, look, listen, y'all. I don't know who's like here that's new and who's been here a while. I am generally very, very critical of all forms of law enforcement. I am very, very strong in favor of we the people's constitutional rights to our privacy, to our freedoms, to our freedom of speech, freedom of religion, freedom to opine on things. I'm very, 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 very critical of law enforcement. I'm extremely critical of federal law enforcement. And generally, I'm out here criticizing. But in this case, I'm not willing to say right now that anyone's constitutional rights have been foregone, because what has been reported is that they did have a warrant and the warrant was signed off by a judge. So somebody is mistaken, somebody is lying, or, somebody is mistaken, or somebody is lying, or somebody I got it. Somebody's mistaken, somebody's lying, or somebody is in just like a timeline differentiation where maybe there wasn't a warrant at first, but then there was. All of that being said, if what she is saying is true and that there really was no warrant, but they did have credible, articulable, specific allegations that what was being said was they thought Nancy Guthrie was inside that house. So if they had some credible, specific allegation Nancy Guthrie was inside that house, they don't need a warrant. They don't need a warrant. If you could hear somebody screaming from the basement, you don't need a warrant. So that's not unconstitutional. However, if they really didn't have a warrant and they really didn't have a tip that Nancy was in there and they just randomly broke into these people's house and bust their door down, that's absolutely unconstitutional. You can't do that. You can't do that. And if they did, that's a huge violation of the Constitution. Let's hear what else our new aunt has to say.
Like I told you, I saw it on Facebook, but since I don't know her, I didn't read what was going on. The story.
Did they take electronic devices at all? Did they take your phone?
I don't have anything. They took my phone. They took my phone, my husband's phone, my daughter's phone, my grandkid's phone, and my son-in-law's phone.
Let me show you these pictures really quick, Josefina, of, just give me a second. I got to pull them up on my phone. These are the pictures from outside Nancy Guthrie's house. This is who they're looking for. Did the eyes look like your son-in-law at all?
No, not at all.
Okay. We have someone in my chat trying to tell me what the fuck to do whenever you really didn't have to do all that. Seriously and sincerely, you really didn't have to do all that. She said the door was broken and her son said the door was broken. I have no reason to believe that they would lie. They had a warrant. I watched it all live. Okay, well, girl, good for you. Send me a link. But if you're trying to get me to, say something you want me to say, this is not the way to do it. You need to calm the absolute entire ass fuck down. You need to really calm all the way ass down. It is 10 o'clock in the morning right now. And you are squealing in my comment section about being disappointed in me. Well, you better get used to it. Because if you're disappointed in me by taking an even middle of the road position until we have more information, then you don't actually understand what I do over here and you don't belong here and you're evicted. Get out. Okay, so I don't know the credibility of this imbecile who is screeching and hollering at me in my own comment section. Like, I don't have anything else to do today. I got up first thing in the morning to come and talk about this stuff with y'all. Okay, so I don't know if they had a warrant, as I said. What I am hearing is conflicting reports. And I personally am not going to give more or less credence right now at this juncture to this lady, to this family, or to the feds. I'm just not at this juncture. Now, what I will tell you is I'm very anti-federal authorities for the most part. I'm very critical of them. So it will be I have a bias. It will be very easy for me to shift over to be supportive of only, this side of things. But I don't know right now. I find her to be believable. She said, "Look, come in my house, open, look, here you go." But there wasn't no need to bust down the door. If somebody was going to let you in the house anyway, I truly agree. You don't have to bust the door down. If someone's letting you in, you can just walk in. It is a little bit or a lot bit gratuitous. Thank you so much. She's from Texas for the $9.99 super chat. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. And thank you, Illyri, for the $1.99. Your streams get me through chemo. Oh my goodness. Send some prayers over there to Illyri, y'all, for the chemo treatments. Coffee on me. Thank you. Thank you. And thank you again for $1.99 again. I sent you an email from my Outlook. Okay, I'll check it out after the stream. Thank you for being unapologetically yourself. It inspires me and I really look up to you. I mean, and that's the thing too. Like I find it to just be like, there's so many places in the world, like literally everywhere, almost everywhere on the internet, except here, almost, that you, can go over there and fight with each other and be divisive. I feel like we all cousins and we need to just relax. I think that it's we the people versus the tyrants. And that's where that's 10 toes down for me. Okay. She may know nothing, but her son or daughter-in-law could be, or her son-in-law or daughter could be involved. Could be. I don't know. But I am personally, I'm going to keep my mind open on this scenario until we have more information. I don't know. We still don't even know. We haven't even gotten any information from any side of this, why the feds wanted to question this person. He didn't say, yeah, I for sure delivered something to her house. He said, I've been in Tucson. I'm a delivery driver. And I got taken against my will. They didn't read me my rights. If that's true, that's unconstitutional. They have to read your rights before they start questioning you in this interrogation style way. We be cousins for real. It's so true. It's so true.
Yeah, no, he doesn't look that out.
Brian, can you ask what her son-in-law's
what's
name
his
is?
name?
It's Carlos. Carlos Palazuelos.
Sorry, what's his name?
Carlos.
Carlos.
Yes.
And what's his last name?
Palazuelos.
Okay.
I don't know. Yeah.
Palazuelos.
So
And does he work in Tucson? Would he ever be in Tucson?
he's in Tucson all week. He works delivering boxes for like UPS and he works
This
with
is
a company.
interesting. I see how you put these three dots. I think I'm going to interpret that as like some type of sarcasm, like you trying to school me or something. A lot of people, a lot of netizens, a lot of people who didn't go to law school don't know this, but once you're detained for long enough and you're not free to leave for long enough, it does actually automatically turn into an arrest. Yes, it does. Even if the cops don't call it that. So just teaching you a little something for free. I'm not going to charge you tuition for that one.
And I told him, you can call the company that he works there and verify that he's working. And
is your daughter also detained?
No, they just let my daughter and my grandkids go.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Thank you, Josefina.
Yeah.
So that's sort of the latest here, Jesse. They took her phone too,
Yeah,
her husband's phone, and her.
This I find to be very interesting. Confusing. I don't know why they would have done this, but they took everybody's phone in the house. They took the mama's phone, or the mother-in-law's phone. They took Carlos' phone. They took the daughter's phone. They took the husband's. Everybody's phone got took. That is interesting to me. I don't know why. I'm totally willing. Again, like I'm saying, y'all, I'm totally willing at some point to say that was unconstitutional, but I just don't have any information on it at this point. I don't know why they did that.
They are searching her house right now. So this is sort of an unfolding situation.
And I'll get into this with Arthur, the fact that they didn't have a search warrant, according to her. Do you know where Carlos is right now, Brian?
Okay, so this is a good question. Why didn't they blur the mother's face? Great question. The reason they didn't blur the mother's face is because she is doing what's called consensual interview. So presumably, before this interview, Brian Hinton walked up to her and said, would you be willing to do an interview? And then she said, yes. So once you do that, you don't get blurred. Unless she said, I'll do an interview, but I don't want to be on the camera. I'll talk to you. Would they need a warrant for the phones? Yeah, that's a search. Yep, that's a search. They had to have had a warrant for the devices. I imagine otherwise it's fruit of the poisonous tree. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Somebody went to law class or paralegal class or legal class or learned it otherwise. Astro Stephanie said that would be fruit of the poisonous tree. Yes, ma'am. Brianna said she thinks, and this is a fair assumption to make, she thinks it's profiling. But for me, Brianna, it's like kind of slippery slope, right? Because how are we any different for saying this is profiling without any information? Like for me, it's like, oh, okay, they're picking on this brown man is kind of profiling because we're saying a group of assumptions based on past experiences, this, that, the other. And like the truth of the matter is criminals come in all shapes, sizes, colors, national origins. They got white ones, brown ones, black ones. Criminals come in all races. Criminals come in all religions. And we just don't know. But that being said, it has been the case in the past where people have been falsely identified, misidentified. And I don't know if y'all know this or not, but statistically, scientifically, this has been proven. Cross-racial identification is notoriously unreliable, which is to say, if it's an eyewitness who is, let's say, African American or Black, the eyewitness would actually have a lower likelihood to be able to identify accurately a white person or an Asian person or a Latino person, Hispanic person, whatever you want to call it. I don't know. What is Hispanic? There's white Hispanic people, Black Hispanic. So that's why I don't really use that term. But same way that like if there's a Asian person, they would have a more, and this is scientifically proven. This is not me making this up. That you go look it up. Cross-racial, it's called cross-racial eyewitness identification is notoriously unreliable. So it is the case that a lot of times people get misidentified. But again, y'all, I mean, all of this off of like an anonymous tip doesn't seem likely. And it's also not how it's supposed to work. That doesn't mean that isn't what happened. And I'm totally willing to shift to one side or the other as we get more information. If he was racially profiled just because all he was doing was minding his business and delivering an Amazon package, that is not acceptable, in my opinion. Okay. There's 2 updates on this New York Post thing. So let me see what they say in this morning. It is now 10:11 a.m. Okay. 12 minutes ago. Oh my God. It always makes me feel like I'm having a freaking pseudo seizure. Okay. 12 minutes ago, ex-FBI agent reveals reason why no car has been found in Nancy Guthrie abduction mystery. Okay, I'm just putting my theory right here. And later on in this investigation, probably like in a later video, I'm going to be like, Penny chat, if you remember me saying this, I'm developing a theory. Nancy Guthrie never went back to that house. I'm developing a theory that Nancy Guthrie never went back to that house. I'm developing a theory. It's not that I think it for sure, but I'm starting to believe it's possible. She went over to Annie's and Tommaso's, and I don't know what happened, but she didn't go back to her house. I don't know. We'll have to see. But people are asking, oh my gosh, yes, primos. I gotta get better at my Spanish. Okay. So that would maybe explain why no car has been found, because she never was put in a car. Anyway, a former FBI agent suggests that Nancy Guthrie's abductor exploited the unlit streets and lack of surveillance cameras in her Arizona neighborhood to evade detection. The layout of her remote, pitch black Catalina Foothills neighborhood would have made it easier for the suspect to use multiple escape routes. Okay, I don't need to read all that. Okay. We have something else from 11 minutes ago. FBI, okay, this is a breaking news update 11 minutes ago. FBI looking at multiple persons of interest in Nancy Guthrie disappearance. This is according to Kash Patel. Looking at multiple persons of interest in the Nancy Guthrie disappearance. This isn't breaking news. He said this yesterday. Without polluting the investigation, I will say we have made substantial progress in the last 36 to 48 hours, thanks to the technical capabilities of the FBI and our partnerships. I do believe we are looking at people who, as we say, are persons of interest. People. We're looking at people. Now, I did hear an retired one of these guys on an interview this morning. I was watching a few interviews while I was getting ready to come on the live stream. And one of them said, in his experience, all of the kidnapping cases he ever worked on in his whole life, in his whole career, all of them had at least 3 people involved in the kidnapping. He said, I guess it's possible, maybe 2, but he said, in my experience in law enforcement and all of that, it's always been at least 3 people. So maybe they're looking for up to 3 people. As you know, with any investigation, this is from Kash Patel, the director of the FBI. He said, you're a person of interest until you're either eliminated or you're actually found to be the culprit or the culprits involved. Okay, so person of interest is just someone they're interested in speaking to. You're not considered the culprit yet. That's the first stage. You're like the person of interest first, or a person of interest. And apparently there's a few of them in this case. Director Kash Patel was speaking after authorities in Arizona detained an individual in Rio Rico, Arizona, south of Tucson, in connection with Nancy's disappearance. The individual, now they're saying he's a FedEx delivery driver. We need to keep all the different things they say in. He is FedEx, DoorDash, GLS. He said with his mouth GLS, and we will watch his interview in a moment. On Tuesday, surveillance footage showing the alleged kidnapper of Today Show host Savannah Guthrie's mother was released by authorities. Now, JLR Investigates is out there on the scene. He has been in his car and outside of his car, going around, driving places. He was all over the place last night, and he is up this morning. So he has given a few tweets about things going on the ground. This is very interesting tweet, and it's good. And like I said, y'all, if this is what happened and they had no leads to go on, that's unconstitutional. And I hope he sues them. They released the guy they detained after ripping him out of his car and tearing his house apart, all because he could have delivered a package to Nancy Guthrie's home in the past because he's a delivery driver. Maybe that's why. Maybe that's why. It could also be a complete coincidence that he happens to be a delivery driver, and it could be something else they wanted to pick him up for. They might have wanted to pick him up to ask about his cousin. They might really actually be interested in that wife. They might be interested in his dad. We really just don't know. There's absolutely no way that we could know at this time. And that's why I'm not comfortable personally making a whole bunch of speculations and stereotypical guesses for stuff. Because here's the thing. I don't care what color somebody is. If you snatched an 84-year-old woman out of her home, put her in a car and went hit her somewhere, or worse, showed up, with a gun and who knows, pew pew, who knows. I don't care what color or race or ethnicity or national origin you are. You need to go to prison. So I'm not going to be out here, oh no, free Carlos, if it comes out he did something. However, I think it's irresponsible. I think it's wrong to be blaming the cousins for something because he got brown eyebrows. Okay, so that's where I stand with it. Okay. He's tweeted an hour ago, y'all. He got about 3-4 hours of sleep, this JLR. Whatever he's on, I want it. I'll have whatever he's taking. What kind of coffee does he have? Heading back over to Nancy Guthrie's home soon. Media has been using the site as a staging area. I'll go live and we will wait there until something new develops. Where is Nancy? Now, this is really the tweet I wanted to read and share with y'all here. He said an hour ago, I personally saw the FBI going door to door in Annie Guthrie and Tommaso's neighborhood. So Annie Guthrie and Tommaso, Annie Guthrie is Nancy, the missing lady's daughter, and Tommaso is the missing lady's son-in-law. JLR said, I was there. I watched it. I heard it. He said the common theme, if you're wondering what they were asking the people in the neighborhood. Now, this is an hour away from Rio Rico, which is where they had poor old Carlos, where they were rummaging through Carlos's house and his mother-in-law's house. This is in Tucson, the Tucson area, right nearby Nancy's house. He said, I personally saw them going door to door in Annie and Tommaso's neighborhood. Common theme was to ask each neighbor if they had seen anything suspicious, asked for consent to search inside or outside their home, and wrote their license plate numbers down from the vehicles in the front yard. JLR, he was there yesterday. He said, everyone I saw them encounter cooperated. Some of the homes, the owners were waiting for FBI, so could have been pre-arranged. Few homes, no one answered. So I'm assuming FBI would have to go back. And that's where the FBI did leave some cards on the door. So there was some confusion about the card, the Adult Protective Services card. That was one of the big developments yesterday that Steve Fisher did point out. And the internet's favorite private investigator, he said, what's this Adult Protective Services card doing on her door, Nancy's door? Usually Adult Protective Services gets called whenever an old person's being abused. This was on like the first or second day of her being missing. So it wasn't like it just got put there recently. I mean, she went missing 11, almost 12 days ago, reported. I don't exactly know. I think the last thing she posted on her personal Facebook page was around January 27th. And it was, I believe, about the Mojang game. So I don't really know. I mean, did we really for sure see Nancy? Who saw Nancy? The last people to see her, they say, was Tommaso and Annie. Nancy was at their house on January 31st. They dropped her off, and then February 1st, she didn't show up to church. Oh, wait. Zoom church at her friend's house. So I don't really know. I mean, I'm starting to wonder a lot of things here. But they're asking the neighbors in Annie and Tommaso's neighborhood, did they see anything suspicious? Can we search your house, outside, inside? And then they wrote the license plates down. Now, what I will tell y'all is, if somebody is missing, if a lady is missing, there's 100% chance I didn't do it. So if the literal feds show up to my house banging on the door with bulletproof vests and they're like, can we come inside and search your house? I'm saying no. I'm saying no, you cannot. No, you cannot. Can you get a warrant? Why? What reason do you have to search my house? No, I don't want you in my freaking house. I don't want you in my house. However, I would let them search the backyard. If they were like, we just want to see, if the guy maybe came through here or whatever. Yeah, hell yeah. Come on, come through. I'll even bring you a glass of water on the porch. You thirsty? You want something to eat? You want a snack? I got a Pop-Tart. You're not coming in my house, especially not with them boots on. No, you're not coming in my house. Now, if it's me, if I called them, yeah, they can come in the house. They can search. Like I call, hey, my mom's missing. I know for 100% fact, I'm not the reason she's missing. So come through. But I'm not just letting the feds in my house. But everybody did if they wanted to go in there or whatever. That's fine. Okay, so now let's watch a video interview of the actual guy, Carlos. This is like an exclusive interview that was from a different.
Said what happened?
They arrested me for kidnapping, which I don't know what's going on.
So what? How did this?
I'm from Rio Rico, as you can see, and it's Pima County Sheriffs.
And so what? How did this all start? How did they stop you here? You were driving here, or
my wife was driving?
Your wife was driving.
This don't look like that same guy. They trying to tell me this guy is the same guy? No. I guess it has to be. Let me get to the interview with the guy. I thought this is where they interviewed. Oh, yeah. Here. So they trying to say this guy?
This, deliver packages. Okay, do you think you might have delivered a package to Nancy Guthrie's house?
I don't know. Might have been a possibility. I don't know.
Yeah, do you ever deliver like Amazon
Okay.
packages or anything?
We'll just start with this guy's interview because they trying to tell me this guy is the same. I guess he kind of it's the same guy. It's the same interviewer. I don't know. Something's weird about this. Okay, let's do it. It's so dark. You just can't see. And he's wearing a totally different thing. So let's watch this one first. This is the one that most news outlets are playing. So let's watch this one first. This is the guy that was
Carlos
detained and released.
Okay, what were they asking you about?
My whereabouts.
Okay,
Where was I and all that, but
are you ever up in Tucson?
yeah, I work in Tucson.
What do you do?
TLS, deliver packages.
Okay, do you think you might have delivered a package to Nancy Guthrie's house?
You see, he said he works for GLS. Thank you to Tina Bailey for being a member for 7 months. Thank you for the coverage and for the JLR lead to watch. Yeah, he's out there live. He was out there like 18, 16 hours or something yesterday, live the whole time. Thank you, KJ, for the 149 super sticker. Thank you, Illyri, for the 199. When I was a cop, it was very hard to get adult protective services out. Interesting. Thank you for the 199. Shout out to Brittany being a member for 3 months. Okay. People are saying this doesn't look like the guy on the Ring doorbell camera. He doesn't look anything like the guy on the Ring doorbell camera. But remember, y'all, the FBI is not only looking for that guy on the Ring doorbell camera. So there's no indication that they thought this guy was that guy. They just wanted to ask him questions for something else. It could have maybe been the case they thought he had something to do with the Bitcoin wallet. Maybe they thought he had something to do with the being a getaway driver. It doesn't mean just because he doesn't look like the guy on the camera that they didn't have some other reason to ask him or to want to question him. Now, if what it's being reported is true, you know, that they rolled up on him and they ripped him out his car and they banged his door down and all, that's too much. That's too much. That would indicate that they thought maybe he was that guy. But apparently somebody was saying and reporting, oh, TMZ has a new letter, they saying. Somebody was out there reporting that they thought that the feds actually thought Nancy Guthrie was being held in his Rio Rico house. I don't see a new letter. I see something from 3 hours ago. You got the wrong guy. They're calling him a DoorDash delivery man as well. Okay. So let's get back to this video here where he's doing his interview on the front door.
Might have been a possibility. I don't know.
Yeah. Do you ever deliver like Amazon packages or anything?
Well, it's kind of the same thing.
Yeah. So do you think you may have? Did they indicate that you might have been on her property? You're not sure.
Nah, they just came up. They. Until right now, all I know is that they show my in-law a picture of somebody wearing a mask or something, and they supposedly look like my eyes.
Right. Okay.
That's it. That's all I know.
So that is even that is a little bit of a contradiction, right? Because his mother-in-law said that's not him. That doesn't look like him. He don't have them clothes that don't look like him. I saw the mouth. I saw the mustache. I saw the mouth. I saw the mustache. I saw the eyes. I saw the eyebrows, and that's not him. But he's saying one of my in-laws must have said that looks like me. People are speculating. Maybe he meant sister-in-law. Maybe he meant father-in-law. I mean, maybe this, that, the other thing. But what are the people actually saying? He said, my in-law saw the picture and said it looks like me. But then there's an interview with his in-law and she said, don't look like him at all. That's not him. I'm telling you, it's not him. He's a good kid. He's a good guy. So we're not getting the same story here. And this right here, this is what is this?
Yeah. And the Pima County Sheriffs.
And so how did this all start? How did they stop you here? You were driving here? Or?
My wife was driving.
Your wife was driving?
Because they were following me. And once I saw they were following me, I pulled over. They didn't even have to put a
pulled over. They didn't traffic stop him. He said, I saw they were following me. I pulled over. I wasn't trying to get followed around.
I got off the car and they arrested me as soon as I got off the car. They didn't even tell me what was going on until the detectives got here like 2 hours before I got arrested. And then the detectives got here. It was the FBI agent in the Santa Cruz County.
He called it arrested. He said arrested. And it's like, it's real easy for people to be in this chat and theorize. He didn't get arrested. He got detained with your little sassy little 3 ellipses dots. But girl, his wrists are hurting from the handcuffs. He wasn't free to leave. He was there for hours. He was taken against his will. A Mark Agnifilo type would call that an arrest. And just because the cops don't call it that, don't mean it ain't. Just so y'all know.
For kidnapping. And I asked him, like, well, kidnapping of who? And they told me this lady, I don't know her name. And
Nancy Guthrie?
Yeah, that's her. And I told him, I work in Tucson for GLS. I might have delivered a package to your house, but I never kidnapped anybody. They hold me from like 4 to right now.
So it was about 4 o'clock and they're holding you to right now. So after midnight, did they tell you anything? I mean, you're in the back of the truck.
They didn't tell me anything until right now. Like I said, like the beginning, they answered they wanted me to
You got
answer
a little
the questions, like where I was, what hours and all that. And I answered the questions. Right now, all they told me is that I'm free to go.
So do you know, had you heard of, and Danny, do you want us to come closer to you here? So we'll just walk, sorry, I just want to clear this up because they're making a big stick.
Okay. What's your name, brother? Carlos.
Carlos?
Yeah.
I'm Ford. It's a pleasure to meet you.
Yeah.
And Carlos, do you mind sharing your last name?
Nah,
No, you're good?
Yeah.
So Carlos. So walk me through it. They had you here. I know you just said it. Had you heard of Nancy Guthrie before tonight?
Never until today.
Never until today.
Yeah.
So
I didn't. They told me I watched the news and I Googled her number or her name and I give it to me. And they couldn't.
That's interesting. That's a good point, Lee. Wait, his mother-in-law said he works in Tucson all week and stays there. And he comes home on Fridays. But yesterday was Tuesday. Was he not working this week? He wasn't booked and charged. No, he was not. I don't think that's the guy. This is the dad. No, this is not. This cannot possibly be the dad. I mean, he does have kids, but I think this is the guy they arrested. I mean, detained.
Prove it to me. Like they didn't have no. It was insufficient evidence. Like they only had a phone on me. That's all they had. And supposedly I was at her house, but like I said, I work delivering packages for GLS. I might have delivered a package to her house.
but didn't kidnap anybody?
No.
So what's going through your head when they're telling you kidnapped somebody?
Shit, bro. I'm facing life. I'm gonna lose everything.
And so they have all this. They detain you. You're here for hours. And what did they just tell you?
That I'm free to go.
Free to go.
Yeah, and Pima County, they already cleared me, but the FBI, they might not or something like that. I don't know. I'm still like.
So Pima County's let you go. They said the FBI may be in contact with you or something like that.
They didn't say something like that. They just the detective in charge right here. I don't remember his name. He told me that they're not looking into me no more, but somebody else might.
Okay. Obviously, you said you hadn't followed this news. This is big, major news. It's Nancy Guthrie, who's her daughter is Savannah Guthrie, who hosts the Today Show on NBC. So it's been big news. She's been missing for more than a week. So they have put out, the Pima County Sheriff's Department put out that they had detained a person of interest. And I guess that's you?
I guess so.
How do you feel about that? People are watching this all over. I mean,
I'm not happy.
I'll show you here. Look, this is what they put out earlier.
So this is a good point. ISIS email said, I think they're just getting all of the delivery, Uber, handyman, housekeeper, gardeners, maintenance, roofer, every single possibility. And I do think that is a part of the investigation process is when, you got to you have to eliminate a lot of people. And one of those former FBI types that did an interview, one of the ones I was watching this morning, said one of the most important parts of an entire investigation is taking the pool of persons of interest and eliminating a lot of people from it, because then what you're left with ends up being, we haven't been able to eliminate these people. Now, what is unfortunate is that people get dragged through things and then people are, oh, this guy's a killer. I mean, I saw people saying things yesterday from border smuggling, illegal this, alien that. And it was just like, y'all, please, that is a lot of speculating and a lot of, imagining over something we really don't know. If things end up being credible to that effect, okay, fine. I'm not going to shy away from talking about things, but like, come on, like this guy, if they would have had something, don't you think they could have arrested him and like kept him? I do think, and we were told this, we were warned this as well. Yesterday, and the day before, there were articles and stuff that were coming out. They were saying, they are taking cheek swabs from the gardeners and from the electrical contractors. They called it the quote hired help, but like the people who helped Nancy to keep up with her home, maintenance, repairs, construction, pool, electrical, stuff like that. And that isn't because they necessarily think somebody did that. It's like, you were in the house, so we need to get your DNA, or your, whatever. And I don't know if those swabs, they didn't say, so we don't know, but you don't have to submit to those things. Like if somebody shows up to your house and says, hey, you were at Nancy Guthrie's house delivering DoorDash and we want your DNA, you can submit to that. Be aware your DNA now goes in their database and they have it forever to match with whatever. But you can also say, no, not trying to submit my biological material to you. Thank you. I didn't kidnap her. Now, if they have enough probable cause, they can get a warrant and they can seize that from you. So I don't know if in the case of the grounds keepers or the quote hired help that they are taking DNA from, if this is consensual searches or if they are searches that are subpoenaed or warrants or whatever. Not really sure.
You just getting a shot?
South of Tucson. I was just stopped at South of Tucson.
So I guess south of Tucson is where you are here in Rio Rico?
I guess so.
And so, yeah,
Look at him looking at the
everywhere, and you see, they got all sorts of people talking about it.
Yeah, no, well, I'm innocent. Don't let you know that.
That's
Tell
just
you that.
I'm sorry. Like, I'm trying to keep an open mind, but I'm so biased. I like him. He's funny. He's like, I don't know. Hope they figure it out. I'm going to be very disappointed if we come to find out he had something to do with it. But I find him to be credible and believable, truly. I really do.
Yeah, I didn't even know what was going on until the FBI and the Pima County detective arrived, and they told me, well, you're being detained for kidnapping, and all of a sudden they read me my Miranda rights.
Him.
Now
so,
you're being under arrest. I'm like, what the fuck is going on?
Oh, he was under arrest. Now we're reading your Miranda. So at some point they did read him his rights, and then at some point they told him you are under arrest. So maybe it's the constitutional standard is the constitutional standard, but then some departments and some agencies do have like internal policies, procedures, and guidelines to make sure that they follow the Constitution, and those can differ. So, for example, if you are questioning, I'm just making this up out of thin air, but it's just an example. If a department is questioning someone longer than 90 minutes, or let's say 2 hours, if a department, they might have in their rule book, in the Fed rule book, if you're questioning a potential suspect or potential subject for longer than 2 hours, you have to read them the rights, because they're going to get a defense attorney that's going to say, you had it for more than 2 hours in the back row. You're going to get some Mark Agnifilo type one day. And it's just easy to just say, okay, look, we've reached the time period where we can't really call this a detainment no more. We're going to have to call it an arrest. But you could still be free to go later. We're just going to read you your rights right now. And that could be part of a policy. Now, it also could be, again, I'm just pulling this out of thin air. I don't know. I'm just piecing things together based on what Carlos has said. It could have been he said something that they were like, oh, okay, you have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be held against you in a court of law. You have a right to an attorney. If you cannot afford an attorney, one will be appointed to you. But that's weird that they would officially arrest him under, those circumstances and then still let him go. I think they probably have a policy procedure where it's like after a certain time, we just read the rights, because we can't have somebody in this room for 12 hours. That's definitely arrest. So we have to tell them, look, you're under arrest. You're not free to go. We're going to call this an arrest. But you could still be free to go later. We just got to get to the bottom of this. We need to run the case. We need to run the this, that, and the other. Yeah, look, like I was saying yesterday, I'm like, I mean, I kind of look like that guy I kind of look like the subject's eyebrows kind of look like mine in that mask. Like, I hope they don't show up to Princeton. It wasn't me. I wasn't me. I'm not giving them my DNA, but they can, take a picture of my face if they want. We also, Brianna said, can't assume everybody knows about this case. Now, what I will say is, now that I'm looking at him from like up close, now it looks like they do have the light on him and stuff. I do think this is the same guy, and he's funny.
Now I'm free to go.
Oh man, what a night, huh?
Bro, tell me about it.
And your family's doing all right? You got to see them?
Well, they broke into my in-laws' house. Now we gotta go to.
Okay. Super Autismo said, I'm about 4 lives behind. Well, I did 3 yesterday. So let me do, I did see some of y'all in the comments saying TMZ said something, but they are saying that. Look, We have breaking news update from New York Post. Third Nancy Guthrie ransom note sent to TMZ. Now, this could be a hoax. This could be not real. We don't know about the authenticity of these ransom notes, but breaking news update 1 minute ago, a new letter in the bewildering Nancy Guthrie case has been sent to TMZ, reportedly including a demand for 1 Bitcoin in exchange for information about Today's Show host, Savannah Guthrie's mother's kidnapper. TMZ reported the $66,000 payment would be in exchange for the name of the individual involved. Oh, they want to play. This feels like an episode of SVU. The letter, the third alleged note sent out since Nancy was last seen, contained details of a working Bitcoin wallet's address. TMZ host Harvey Levin said Wednesday during an appearance on Fox News America's Newsroom. Now, they're interesting that TMZ is not putting these stories out. Harvey Levin is going as the TMZ spokesperson to other news sources to say this news. They said they want 1 Bitcoin sent to a Bitcoin address that we have confirmed is active. It's a real Bitcoin address. And as they put it, time is more than relevant. So we have no data on whether this is real or not, but they are making a demand. Oh my Lord. Then they should just get the reward money. Seriously. These notes are sounding like BS. It's looking more like a distraction every day. Somebody said fake. Is this all going to turn out to be a hoax for Logan Paul's new crypto project? If it turns out being this guy, we're not going to believe anybody ever again. And I have been so duped and so lied to, y'all. I have like really a trauma. Like, I think I'm not letting people scan my brain, but if you would scan my brain, there's probably a spot right there from like being betrayed. That's like, damn it. Like a part of my brain is damaged or something. Like I have it seared in my being, in my identity. If there's multiple lives, if that's real, my next life, I'm going to remember it too. From people who can be in your face, in your life, sometimes in your house, and they can be so convincing and have your absolute worst interest in mind. Like be actively trying to sabotage you, to harm you, to hurt you. And they can be so convincing and they're smiling like, I'm a really good judge of character. I'm a good judge. But there's really good. There's elite liars out here. Elite. That's how people like Jeffrey Epstein are able to get away. Diddy, they're so charismatic. They are so nice and generous in some respects. And they show up to help you move and they show up to do this and that. And they volunteer to do things for free. And it's like the whole while they are plotting, they are scheming, and they are trying to hurt you. And I had to learn that lesson, and I had to learn it the hard way. And I had to learn it the hard way a bunch of over and over. I kept thinking it was one-offs. They got bad people that lie, and they're very good at lying. And if you're good at lying, you might be good at committing crimes because you're going to get away with them. The man they detained said they really didn't question him. So maybe they were just holding him so they could do the search. I'm still catching up, but I said I wanted to send you something because you are working hard. Love you, mean it. Thank you, Amber, for the $9.99 super chat. He may have delivered the Amazon package, but he says he doesn't remember if he did or didn't. Thanks so much for that $2, Malevolent Queen. And Brittany, wasn't there a package on her doorstep? I wonder if he delivered it. I did see that doorstep package, and I do wonder who delivered it as well. Shout out to you for being a member. When old girl quoted the movie in the video, I stopped buying it all. It's very strange. It's very strange. Amy said that TMZ is a tabloid and not a reliable source of information in her opinion. Unfortunately, that's turned out to be false in some cases. Some cases, they're absolutely reliable. Like, for example, Celeste Rivas Hernandez, her identity, TMZ is the one who got that information to the cops, and they were right. So sometimes TMZ really does truly get exclusives, and sometimes they're full of shit. And the problem is we never know which one's which. So while I do think, TMZ is a tabloid, that is true. TMZ, it's not like one of us always lies. One of us always tells the truth. If TMZ is saying it, I'll put it this way. Nobody in this chat would put 100% of the money in their bank account on a bet that everything TMZ types is wrong. Is everything TMZ ever says, everything they ever say, is it wrong? No. So what does that mean? It means we have to use our discernment. We have to use what's called nuance. We can't just throw the baby out with the bathwater. We can't pull the hair with the hide, as it were. We have to look into these things, and we have to use our discernment, because nobody's going to tell us, oh, this one's a lie, this one's the truth. They have the truth all the way over there on Reddit. They have the truth on 4chan, 8chan, all them chans. Some of the things that the QAnon people were saying was true. Okay, this is just reality. Some of the things TMZ says is true. Some of the things they say, not true. But just because it's a tabloid, or just because it's coming from Harvey Levin, who I don't like a tabloid, I don't like Harvey Levin. But the truth, if you're really concerned with the capital T truth, is that sometimes TMZ is right. I'm not even going to get into 50%, 50, 40, 70, 20. I'm not going to get into all that. But sometimes, more than 0%, they are right. So I think it's irresponsible, and it's like kind of like, what's the word? I don't want to say the wrong word here. I think it's irresponsible, and I think it's foolish to disregard everything that comes from a media source just because you have developed a stereotype of what a tabloid is. Thanks so much to Keeper Receipt for your alibi for the $1.99 super chats. Is everyone forgetting he has a white van? I don't know. In order to forget something, you'd have to know it. I don't know who had a white van. Thank you for the $1.99. I wouldn't put, no, I meant false. I'm saying, like, if someone walks up to you and says, is everything TMZ saying a lie? And you're like, yeah. And they're like, well, you willing to put all your money on that? So we're not going to read a single sentence anywhere. No sentence, no headline ever in history ever is true that TMZ. No, you're not going to bet on that, because that would be an act. You're going to lose your money. Sometimes they've said stuff true. But yes, you do have to consider their motives. Why are they saying it? Why are they printing it, etc.? We do have some stuff from the New York Times. Oh, this was 6 hours ago. It says updated 1 minute ago. But then when you actually click, let's go to NBC News for the live updates. Okay, so look, I'm glad I'm following this live, because yesterday it was all coming out. Kash Patel, the FBI, they got that video and they released it immediately to the public the same day they received it. I noticed that they said that. It was almost like they had been accused of sitting on that footage, of sitting on those pictures. And they were like, no. We just got it today and we put it out to the public immediately. Put a one in the chat if you remember that. Put a one in the chat if you remember us reading yesterday during one of the lives. They released it as soon as they got it. And here's one of the reasons that I am not only suspicious of federal law enforcement, I'm suspicious of things that we do read from the tabloids and from the media. Because sometimes they'll just be running with a story because, look, now we're getting something different. 42 minutes ago, actually, FBI saw that subject video before yesterday morning. According to 2 officials briefed on the investigation, they've been analyzing the material. So they did see it before yesterday morning. And that makes sense. I actually found it incredibly difficult to believe, like completely unbelievable, that it took them 10 days to get that Ring camera footage. I just don't believe it. I don't believe it. I'm not convinced, and I don't believe it. That's where I stand with it. Yeah, exactly, Christine. This is where I am with it. I know, no, sorry. Sell it to somebody else down the street because I ain't buying it. The gas station guy said they were looking for info. Then the neighbors reported a white van. Okay. Within the last 2 weeks. Oh, yes. I did read the thing about that white van. So who has a white van? I didn't know that. Okay, let's see. CBS News. The pressure is on. Okay, this is from 8:14 a.m. Retired FBI special agent says the pressure is on after authorities released photos and video of a person at Nancy's home. The person can be seen wearing a ski mask, gloves, and carrying a backpack, and it appears that he is armed with a gun holstered on his belt. The Piedmont County Sheriff's Office and the FBI are looking for these next mistakes to happen, and they're going to be ready to capitalize on them when they do. PAC notes the video where the weapon is located doesn't appear to be moving very quickly. I said, is he on gabapentin or lithium? All of those things will tell profilers certain things that they're going to look for and narrow that timeline down. I am still looking for the Harvey Levin. Third note, TMZ, Harvey. Okay, here we go. No, let's see. Let's go to 16 minutes ago, Fox News. Okay, think they have the video here. Okay, here we go. Breaking news, Fox News alert.
And we need your help. If you see anything, if you hear anything, if there's anything at all that seems strange to you, that you report to law enforcement. We are at an hour of desperation. And we need your help.
So that was late Monday afternoon. This is Wednesday morning, day 11 in the search for Nancy Guthrie. My next guest says he and his team has finally seen activity in a Bitcoin account tied to possibly a ransom note sent to news outlets in Arizona. TMZ founder Harvey Levin's with me now. And Harvey, good morning to you. Terrific work from the very beginning on this. Your outlet received an original letter. You did not receive a second letter where another affiliate did. So by my count, that's 2 letters. And you now report that TMZ has just been sent a third letter. Please explain and describe what you got about 90 minutes ago.
So an hour and a half ago, we got kind of a bizarre letter, an email from somebody who says they know who the kidnapper is and that they have tried reaching Savannah's sister, Annie, and Savannah's brother to no avail. And they said they want 1 Bitcoin sent to
y'all. I am, after this video today, I am going to make a video, a private video, and I'm going to make it private. I'm going to make it unlisted, but I'm going to post it to the back end of my YouTube channel because I have had a strong sense and a strong feeling since the first day I saw these 3 siblings holding hands on that couch. And I think it's kind of disrespectful and rude, as I've been saying and harping on, to just throw out a speculation, oh, I had a psychic vision. I could say that, but I'm going to make a private video because this stuff's starting to feel like adding some verification, some authenticity, some support. Don't forget, the brother was in the Air Force. Let me just double check that the brother was in the Air Force, because is it not okay? Somebody from a military family, can you please tell me, can you be in the Air Force and also your state's National Guard? Somebody tell me. This is the reason I thought he was in the Air Force, because Savannah herself posted this video of his retirement. She said his final flight as an F-16 pilot. He retired from military flying this weekend. I have never been more proud. He has flown for our country for 26 years, and he continues to serve proudly in the Green Mountain Boys, the Vermont Air National Guard. He's the pride of our family. He is the pride of our family. But is he in the Air Force, or was he in the Air Force, or is it the Air National Guard? Can you be in both? So this is I don't know, this is just some SundayGuardianLive.com. I don't know this. Cameron Guthrie, this is him. And I took issue with what he looks like. I was like, he looks like, the faces he's making, he's either on some drugs or he's like, prescription or whatever, or something's weird with this. Like something's weird with it. And then y'all were like, he was in the military, so they have to learn how to be stoic. And I'm like, okay, well, okay, I guess. Like 30% of the people in the military beat their wives. Are they stoic when they're doing that? Let me stop. Also, thank you for your service if you're not beating your wife, and also, fighting for our country and our freedoms and stuff. I know that they come through the poor people's schools. They came through mine, recruiting people for front lines for their dumb, stupid wars that are about stuff that's not even what they say it's about. And then they lose their legs and they lose their sanity. Okay. So I thank you to the people that make those huge sacrifices. I'm so glad that, I'm not getting drafted. And I really, truly, I really do appreciate the military, especially like, people that do get kind of like duped and exploited into joining. But anyway, let me stop. Okay. Investigators continue to search. Who is he? Fighter pilot with the U.S. Air Force. Yes. With the U.S. Air Force. Okay. So he was in the Air Force. Interesting. So now we're hearing from Harvey Levin this morning, breaking news just a few minutes ago, that in the last couple hours this morning, he received another, or TMZ received another note. And it's not exactly, I don't know exactly what a ransom note is, in definition. Usually when you say a ransom note, it usually means they have someone, they're alive, and they're going to give them back to you for money. Well, now they're kind of acting like maybe they didn't, they don't have her alive and stuff, but they'll just pay me for information. Now, Stephanie said, why don't they just tell the FBI and get the reward from them? Interesting question. I'm going to go back 10 seconds. Harvey just said this person, and this person is obviously a scammer and could be a total liar. This is the thing too. A lot of criminals are good liars, but sometimes criminals are not lying. Same thing with TMZ. You can't take everything they say as false, but also you definitely would be foolish to take everything they say as true. If you're a criminal and you're trying to just get a Bitcoin from me, I don't know if I believe this you're saying. I need some proof. And so what Harvey is saying, and again, we have another credibility issue because who knows what his conflicts of interest in this case are. He's in the media too. He might even know Savannah Guthrie. I don't know. We don't know. We just don't know. But he's saying that the person who sent him, or who sent TMZ this morning, hey, I'll tell you who did the kidnapping if you give me a Bitcoin. And that's like, Bitcoin goes up and down by a few $1,000s every day, but it's in the $60,000, $60,000 to $70,000 range for one Bitcoin. And I'll tell you who it is. I tried to tell Annie, and I tried to tell Charles Cameron, but they won't listen to me. So now I'm trying to tell you, TMZ, give me a Bitcoin and I'll tell you. Now, maybe this person is like, okay, let's see if TMZ bites, because TMZ will pay for a story. Sean Chapman Hawley even said that. They'll pay for a story, for a picture, whatever. At least historically, that's the rumors. I don't know. I never sold them nothing. So I don't know personally firsthand. But the lore on the street is TMZ is one of the few tabloids and one of the few companies at all that'll pay you for insider information or a story. So maybe they're just like, I'm gonna shoot my shot. I want TMZ to pay me. Maybe they do get 60. TMZ, that might be a good business decision. Get the 6, you could write it off on your taxes, get the $60,000, $70,000 tip. And maybe that does lead to ended up finding, $60,000, $70,000 to these people. Harvey probably got it in his bank account. He probably got it in cash. I don't know. But he's saying this person tried to reach out to the family, tried to reach out to that sister, tried to reach out to that brother, and they did not respond. Again, that could be not true. There could be good reasons for it, but that sounds pretty bad. Your mom's missing? Or is it that they know?
You did not receive a second letter where another affiliate did. So by my count, that's 2 letters. And you now report that TMZ has just been sent a 3rd letter. Please explain and describe what you got about 90 minutes ago.
So an hour and a half ago, we got kind of a bizarre letter, an email from somebody who says they know who the kidnapper is and that they have tried reaching Savannah's sister, Annie, and Savannah's brother to no avail. And they said they want 1 Bitcoin sent to a Bitcoin address that we have confirmed is active. It's a real
Please.
Bitcoin address.
I am laughing and giggling. It's not because the situation is funny. It's because it's such a serious situation that they are treating like an Austin Powers movie. Like 1 billion Bitcoin. Like it's giving like a lady is missing and they're asking for a Bitcoin for information. What? This is silly.
As they put it, time is more than relevant. So we have no idea whether this is real or not, but they are making a demand. It's interesting that, you know, Bitcoins fluctuate in value, but it's around $56,000 now, one Bitcoin, which is about the amount that the authorities are offering for information leading to the
Someone, and a lot of people have been saying this. It's that 1339. And I did have like a longer thing, you know, not prepared, but that I kind of wanted to speak on this. A lot of people have been telling me this. This is all a psyop to distract from the Epstein files. Well, maybe so. But that being said, I'm not distracted from the Epstein files. I got a whole Epstein series coming out on BJ Investigates. So make sure you're subscribed over there for that. The first video we're going to kick the series off with cannibalism. I won't be distracted. Don't worry about me. Don't worry about me.
return of Nancy. So I don't know if that aligns, but whoever sent this, and they actually give a name and an email address, but whoever sent this is asking for around that amount via Bitcoin for information that they say leads directly to the person.
Let's take it a step at a time here, Harvey. Take me back to the original letter. I believe you were the one who said whoever wrote that letter, I don't think you used the word meticulous, but I'll use that word, suggesting that the grammar was right. The letter is very specific about the requests and the demands. Does this letter have the same form that you saw the first time around?
No, and I don't think this person is purporting to be that person. Okay. This person is purporting to be someone who probably wrote that first letter. If the FBI's operating theory is right.
Let me rewind 20 seconds because I want to make sure I understood what he just said.
Very specific about the requests and the demands. Does this letter have the same form that you saw the first time around?
No, and I don't think this person is purporting to be that person. Okay. This person is purporting to be someone who probably wrote that first letter. If the FBI's operating theory is right, that they are going on the assumption that the person who wrote this note took Nancy. And so they're not saying they're the kidnappers. They're saying they know who the kidnapper is. And
that's what I'm now. Anybody, and y'all could send a letter. Don't. And if you do, and I know about it, I'm going to be snitching. But I mean, theoretically, I could send them a letter. You could send them a letter. Give me a Bitcoin. I want to go buy a Birkin. Like, I don't like anybody could be sending this. It doesn't necessarily mean that the person who is demanding the one Bitcoin from TMZ is the kidnapper. I don't think that it's even very likely that it would be the kidnapper. The kidnapper probably scared and stopped sending letters. I don't know. Who knows? Who knows?
Give that information up for one Bitcoin. Okay. And again, we looked at this address. It's a pretty bold thing that the address is real.
Okay. There were two other Arizona affiliates in Tucson, KGUN9 and another one. Did they also receive the same note? Or do you?
I don't know. We haven't talked to them.
All right. Now,
we just, Bill, we've sent this on to the FBI already.
Okay, confirmed on that. I watched your interview last night with Sean. You were very careful as to what you said, and I respect that and the contact you have with authorities. There was, late last night, there was a Bitcoin address that had $6 million deposited in it.
I made a video about this.
Real or a ruse, but I'm sure you know of it. When you looked at that address, did it match what you saw in letter number 1 from several days ago?
I am not comfortable commenting on this.
Whoa.
Okay, so then it's possible.
Whoa. Okay, y'all. There is $6 million worth of Bitcoin, 6 million American dollars worth of Bitcoin, which is like 85.2 or something Bitcoins floating around as a lump sum in public transactions. I made a video about this yesterday. We're not going to watch it, but I think I made 11 videos yesterday. $6 million of Bitcoin money is moving around right now. These are all the videos I made just yesterday on my channel. I started here. See, 1 day ago, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, plus the lives that I made yesterday, which was this one, and this one. Oh my gosh, these have the exact same amount of views. That is crazy. Okay. And almost the same length. I didn't even do that on purpose. Okay, and here's us right now. But I made a video yesterday called Guthrie Family Actually Paid the 6 million Bitcoin ransom ? A theory. And there was that transaction. Let me grab the link to it. I'll drop it in the live chat if y'all want to go check it out after this video. After this live. But there's $6 million of Bitcoin. It's like one chunk moving around. And it was yesterday around, it was the day before yesterday let me see if I can get the screenshot here. The only reason I'm spending time on this is because the fact Harvey Levin just said I'm not comfortable talking about that. I mean, when's the last time that freaking ever happened? When is the last time that ever happened in his life? I've never heard Harvey Levin say I'm not comfortable talking about that in response to a question. I got the picture right here. Let me just pull it up and show it to y'all. Also, can we please get the likes up to 600? It's the least we could do. I'm about to go like my own video. Okay, I got the photo up. Sorry, I was just trying to get it in a format where it would work without showing y'all my whole camera roll here. Okay. So this is public information. This is public info. And this was the day the ransom was due. The last deadline date of the ransom was February 9th, 5 o'clock Mountain Standard Time. This screenshot is a quote, is an unverified Bitcoin. Oh, what the hell? Okay, hold on. Let me pull it back up. This was a direction I wasn't prepared to take right now. I'm a little flustered. Here you go. Okay. You see this right here, 85 Bitcoin, 85.28, 292098. And it's worth $6,002,670. Now, this exact dollar amount that it's worth will go up and down all day, each day. But it's about $6 million worth of Bitcoin. See it right there? That was 11:49 a.m. or maybe it was 1:49 a.m. Eastern. So then 11:49 a.m. Mountain, sometime midday on the day that the ransom was due. However, please listen to me. This is very important. It's not verified this has anything to do with Nancy Guthrie or Savannah Guthrie or a ransom. In fact, and indeed, from the evidence that we had available, it didn't appear that this was the Bitcoin wallet that was asked to put the ransom money in. So then there was this whole theory, and I did make that video about it. I'll put the link in the live chat if y'all want to go check it out after this video. But there's a whole theory, and it's just a theory, and it's just speculation that maybe in that second family video where they were like, we understand, the we understand thing from Savannah was, we know that you want it to go to a different account. But then yesterday, which would have been the day after the $6 million Bitcoin transaction, the day or purchase or whatever it was, the day after, which would have been yesterday, the 10th, there was all these reports from the media and in the news saying the ransom was not paid. Then late last night, we had TMZ, Harvey Levin reporting that they had been keeping an eye on that Bitcoin wallet that they said to put the ransom money in, and nobody, and it was sitting at zero until last night. And about $150 to $300 worth of Bitcoin went in there, 0.22 Bitcoin. So again, like I said, the value of Bitcoin changes every day when compared to a dollar. And this is how all currency exchange is. You know, sometimes you might be €1, so it just fluctuates. So in any currency, that's not always going to be a one-to-one match. So 0.22 Bitcoin to dollars, and it's just that 0.22 is just kind of like reminding me of a pew pew. But look, let me show y'all. It's worth 66 right now, this very second, right now. 0.22 Bitcoin would be worth no, 0.22. Let's do how many dollars is 0.22 Bitcoin worth? Not Bitcoin. Oh, it's not telling me. Oh, look, 14,000. 14, hold on. Was it 0.02 Bitcoin then? That doesn't add up, what they were reporting. I mean, I'm no mathematician here. But even 0.02 Bitcoin is worth $1,300. And they were saying it was less than 300. So it was 0.02. 0.002. Okay, look, I don't want to get too in the weeds on the Bitcoin value because I don't want to embarrass myself with how bad I am at math. But I also, I don't really know what I'm looking at. And I think some stuff could have been falsely reported or inaccurately reported. My purpose for this is to say there's something weird going on with 6 million actual dollars floating around in the Bitcoin wallets. Okay, slay. I got 600. We got to 600 likes. Thank God. Okay, I am so beside myself about that. I'm going to go back 20 seconds. I just need to hear him say that again. Watch Harvey. Put a 2 in the chat if you've never seen Harvey Levin uncomfortable answering a question in your freaking life. He'll answer a question about Britney Spears' drawers. He'll talk about Britney Spears' child custody issues, but he won't talk about Bitcoin. What? Hold on.
I don't know if that's real or a ruse, but I'm sure you know of it.
Hold on. Let me go back more. Let me go back more.
That address.
I went back more.
There was a Bitcoin, Sean. You were very careful as to what you said, and I respect that and the contact you have with authorities. There was, late last night, there was a Bitcoin address that had $6 million deposited in it. I don't know if that's real or a ruse, but I'm sure you know of it. When you looked at that address, did it match what you saw in letter number 1 from several days ago?
He won't say.
I am not comfortable commenting on this.
He could have debunked it.
It's possible.
He could have said that didn't match. Nope. Wasn't the same one. Never heard him say that. Wow.
That the Bitcoin address that was requested turned out to be this particular one. And that would
wouldn't read anything. I wouldn't read anything into this.
Okay, so if the suggestion that money was paid may not necessarily be the case. Is that what you're saying?
Y'all know I'm like real nitpicky with the words people use. It's because I'm a Virgo and also went to school for linguistics. But nobody asked Harvey what he would or wouldn't do. What they asked is, did you recognize that number of the Bitcoin account where the $6 million went into it from the first ransom letter? Did it add up? He said he ain't comfortable answering it. And then the guy makes the obvious next step of like, oh, so then it is possible because you won't deny it. You won't debunk it. You could debunk it. He could say, yeah, no, that's not related. I don't think that's related at all. That doesn't add up to the big, because he was saying it before, right? They were monitoring the Bitcoin address. No money had gone in. Then $300 had gone in. He was comfortable saying that. But then whenever he was not comfortable saying all of a sudden about this thing, about this topic, he's been talking about it this whole time. So now all of a sudden this topic, he's not comfortable. And then he tells us he wouldn't read into it. Well, I'm reading into it, me personally, and I have the right to do that. I have the right to do that.
Okay. When you watch the camera video that was sent out yesterday, does it make sense for you as to why the FBI would give you this image and that image, but they would not give us the image of the camera being ripped away? And based on some inside reporting, it's been suggested that whoever was standing in front of that door took the doorbell camera with them. It seems to me if they were familiar with that house, they would have known there was a camera there when they approached it. And this whole idea about taking these flowers and sticking over the camera lens, it seems a little foolhardy to me. And if you're right about the initial letter, that they were so careful in the way they constructed the letter itself, this wouldn't match the meticulous nature of that first individual. How do we make sense of that, Harvey?
You see it exactly the way I see it. I could not agree with you more the way you put it, that the just the thought that went into this letter doesn't match the thought of somebody coming up fully disguised, knowing that they don't want to be seen, and not even thinking, gee, people have these cameras on their door. You know, you don't have to even have cased her door or property to just make an assumption that she may well have a camera like that. And you should be ready to somehow block it. Have a piece of cardboard, have something to immediately block it. And this person walks up almost surprised that there is a camera there, and then walks over and stoops down in the garden area, grabs some shrubs. I agree with you. It just does not align.
Let me ask you another question about some of the activity around Annie Guthrie's house last night. Our reporters have been there. They saw him poking around in different areas, different neighbors' yards and the backyards there, and apparently some of them readily gave access to the FBI. Let me ask you an uncomfortable question. Do we know the status of the relationship between Annie and her husband?
Oh, that's a good question.
Annie and who?
Her husband.
Okay, so there's been a lot of speculation about Annie Guthrie's husband, Tommaso. And I personally think it's like a little bit unfair because he's like the one guy in the family who doesn't appear to have so much of the like Anglo-European features. And he's like, people are all but basically saying he killed his mother-in-law because he has a big beard and bushy eyebrows. And I'm just like, I don't know about that, y'all, please. But people are really persistent on this theory, and they're like, well, if it wasn't him, then it was his bandmate. And it's like, come on, y'all, who knows? But y'all are some of y'all really think it's him. Well, then I gotta admit, there's been some kind of weird stuff going on, like why wasn't he in the ransom videos? Maybe it was like nobody's husbands was in those videos. Me personally, I can tell you, and again, y'all, I don't even want to even consider what I would do in this situation because I don't even want to even imagine or think about one of my family members, God forbid, my freaking mom get kidnapped and I got to make a ransom video to negotiate with these criminals. I really don't even want to think about it. But what I can tell you is if I had to make that video, my fiance would be sitting right there with me, unless he had some very strong aversion not to be sitting there. But Savannah's husband wasn't sitting there. Charles Cameron, if he got a wife, she wasn't sitting there. But people have asked, why wasn't Tommaso sitting with his wife, right there? Why hasn't he made a statement? Other things people have said. Okay, well, if Tommaso's so innocent, why doesn't the family make a statement, even just a written press release, and say, stop blaming people inside our family of doing this heinous and horrible thing? It's not anybody in our family. Why hasn't Savannah Guthrie's? These are things people have asked, and I'm just reporting back to y'all because I spend pretty much all day when I'm not on live still looking into different things, theories, Reddits, and I'm looking at everywhere. I'm looking at Reddits. I'm looking at Reddits, I'm looking at Twitters, I'm looking everywhere. And so people have been asking, why this Tommaso guy hasn't as an Italian, I'm offended. Somebody said, why hasn't this Tommaso guy made a statement? Why hasn't he been seen? Whenever he is seen on camera, he's covering his face, this, that, the other. Well, now I guess people are also now speculating that Tommaso and Annie are having a rough patch. They're not even together. What's the status of the relationship between Tommaso and Annie? Harvey's going to be like, oh, I'm not comfortable.
No. And look,
Comfortable question. Do we know the status of the relationship between Annie and her husband?
and Annie and who?
Her husband.
Look, no. And look, I know why you're asking this, and let's just put it on the table. There have been all sorts of, reports, especially on social media. People are talking about who it could be. I have absolutely no basis to even raise that. And I'm not saying it's true or not true, but I've done checking the way everybody else has. And so far, I just don't have any information to give it credibility or shoot it down.
Okay, let me ask another comfortable question since we're in this area here. They have not told us after the garage door closed where the son-in-law went. And the sheriff was very careful not to say who dropped her off, but it's been reported that it was the son-in-law. And is there any reporting after that they've been able to track where that vehicle went when they left her home, assuming they did?
I'm not privy to that information. I don't know. I'm only going to say what I know, and I just don't know.
Okay, understood on that. One last thing. This $300 that was deposited last night that you were talking about with Sean, has that gone anywhere since that was reported last night by you?
I have never said an amount, and there is a reason I haven't said an amount, and I am going to stick to that regardless of what anybody else has said. There are reasons behind why I'm saying that.
Okay, this is giving maybe $6 million went into that account. It was posted everywhere all over the place that it was about $300. But then what I just said, I heard it was 0.02 or 0.22 Bitcoins, and that'd be $14,000 or $1,400. That's not $300. So that's why I was like, I'm not even going to try and even get into this Bitcoin calculation. They said $300, but Harvey said, I didn't say that. And I ain't going to say an amount.
I gave my word on something, and I don't want to impede this in any way. And I'm going to stick to what I said, which is simply that there was activity, and I'm not going to say more about what the activity is.
I respect that. Like that. Last question then. Do you believe they're onto something here, or do you believe they're closer to a dead end?
Look,
that's a broad question.
Yes, that they have avenues that they are pursuing. I know this, and I know this on one count absolutely, and on a second count, look, he is dressed head to toe in various items, and I am sure that and I will say one other thing, Bill, that law enforcement has told me they are operating under the theory that this person lives in the Tucson television area, and that's why they've had so much contact with the local television stations there. So I am assuming at this point, and I don't think this is a leap of faith, that they are contacting anybody who, while you're showing the glove there, anybody who might have sold a glove like that, who may have sold a backpack like that, may have sold a sweatshirt like that, pants like that, anything.
And yesterday, last night on my live, we did see that someone did appear to find that exact model of that exact SKU of quarter zip. There were a few people that were posting different backpacks that could possibly be the backpack that somebody found the holster, perhaps a Sticky brand holster. The shoes were harder to see. The gloves apparently give away a lot. The gloves apparently give away a lot of information. These gloves, I saw this FBI. I'm just telling you what I heard, but I saw this former FBI guy saying that those gloves are not just your typical standard, rubber gloves. They're not, which would be like 1 to 4 millimeters thick. These are like thicker, 8 millimeter gloves, 8 to 10 or whatever. And those would be like more likely to be worn by people who are doing work, tradesmen, electricians, industrial cleaning crews. Like these are thicker, more robust gloves. I also saw one of these former law enforcement guys that they put out as talking heads, and take with a grain of salt what these guys say. But he was pausing the hand in front of the camera moving around, and he was showing how the glove was wrinkling, and he was saying it appears to him that this is like at least 2 layers of gloves and could be 3. So maybe if the outside of the glove would have ripped, there would still be some more glove in there, protection type of thing. Yeah, people are saying industrial rubber gloves used for cleaning. I called them dishwashing gloves. You know how some gloves, they're like, thicker, and then your hands they're more like thermal protection. So you can wash like really hot in the really hot water and not hurt your hands after a while. I called them dishwashing gloves, but yeah, it could be like cleanup crew gloves or whatever, or electrician gloves or whatever. They said this guy looks like Savannah's brother. I mean, can you even freaking imagine?
Them because
I don't think so. He seems to have lighter eyes.
One of the ways they catch people is that they will find somebody who bought something 2 weeks ago, and they look at the surveillance video of who's in the store. Even if they paid cash, they have a time on what to look for and who goes to the cash register with the item and walks out. And that happens all the time in law enforcement. So I think what he's wearing, aside from the fact that somebody may be familiar with it, they are going to try to find out who bought it. And if they bought it within a fairly narrow time frame before this, because these are not things that I would think people just ordinarily have. I mean, the gloves are bizarre.
Might. So they might.
I would think they are contacting all sorts.
Sometimes, like, you got to remember with these money changers, like they don't consider themselves among the working class, and so they kind of forget that like people that do work do have working equipment. Like if somebody's job is like, for example, let's say like a demo cleanup crew where they come through and they pick stuff up and put it in trash bags, they would have this at their house. People that do cleaning, would have cleaning gloves. People that do electrical work would have electrical work gloves. So, sometimes whenever it's like he would have had to go to the store and buy it, it's like, not really. Like, whenever the COVID hit, everybody I know that did construction work already had them N95 masks, and they already had them construction masks with the filters on it. They had that already. It wasn't like something unusual for them to have. So if that's the case, maybe this person didn't buy those gloves, or maybe they used them from their friend or something. Some people are even trying to say this looks like leather gloves. I don't think so. It looks like some plastic or rubber type of glove to me. Nitrile.
They would probably contact manufacturers, but certainly retailers, and then just see if you can nail down who bought something like that, and then look at surveillance video, and that tells a whole story, because whoever bought that did not walk in looking like that.
Harvey, how much more time do you have? I'm told that you have a deadline here. Can you still talk with us?
Yeah.
Okay. I want to bring in my colleague Dana, and let's go ahead and open this discussion up. And I really want to drill down on what you told Sean last night. You said when that first letter arrived, you read it. This is a
Harvey
really
Levin looking road hard and put up what? Poor thing, bless his heart. Amen.
In person who knows how to express the thought. They have thought this out. They cover everything they need to cover. That's a very intriguing answer. Can you take that a step further?
Well, yeah. I mean, and we've been saying this for days now, that I would assume, I mean, if I were putting an APB out, and I'm not law enforcement, but if I were putting an APB out, I would ask people in the Tucson area. Do you know anybody who is intelligent, who is tech savvy? And now you can say someone with a somewhat stocky build, with a mustache and a beard and or goatee.
Tech savvy.
And
hold on. Tech savvy? And he thought the best way to handle the camera was to put a bouquet of bush in front of it? Girl, please. All right. I've had enough of Harvey. Let's see if there's more breaking news updates here. Let's go. Oh, we have a new update from NBC. Where's Nancy? The case baffles the FBI. Yeah, he is like 75 years old. So for 75, he looks good. But y'all, when I'm 75, I ain't going to be on HD. I could tell y'all that. I'm not being on HD. Nope. Okay, hold on. Oh, okay. Wait. Okay, this is interesting. This is NBC News. They gave us an update 51 minutes ago. FBI official said tips increased dramatically after released photos and videos. An FBI official told NBC News that tips have dramatically increased. Good. That's good news. Good news. And probably some of them will be trolls and fake, and some of them will be well-meaning, but still not helpful. And hopefully some of them are legitimate and helpful. FBI said that the tips have increased dramatically since FBI Director Kash Patel released the images. I still think that looks like a lady in the face. The way that the eyes are like, it almost looks like makeup on those top eyelashes, just the top ones. And like this looks like a lady. It looks like, you know how they put they paint eyes on the back of like beds of trucks, and it's just the eyes. It's like these like very ladylike eyes. Now, everybody's saying it's a man. They've reported it's a man, the two law enforcement sources close to the subject or whatever. So they saying it's a man. I'm not trying to disagree with them, but I'm just saying it looks like a lady in the face. We had Ashley in here yesterday. She said she's a professional. She's a professional. She said that's a lesbian. So I mean, I don't know. They're saying it's a man, but I just like this especially. And that's what I'm saying. Like, if I had they might think that's me. Look at the eyebrows. That could be me. It's not me, y'all. Please. I have an alibi. I was over here at my house. I don't think my phone has ever pinged in Arizona. No, that was Arkansas. Nope, never. Okay, maybe. I don't remember. I might have been in Arizona before. I don't have any recollection. Certainly not this month. But like, I'm just saying, like, that looks more like a lady than Carlos Parazuelos or whatever his name was. Okay. But the tip line has been popping off. Yesterday appeared to show a potential subject outside Guthrie's home. Okay. Okay, let's see if we have any more updates from the New York Post. This is the one that gives me night terrors. I just can't navigate and operate this freaking site. It's like always stuff popping up. Oh my Lord, a dad shot his daughter after a big argument about Trump. Y'all, please. We got to stop letting politics and political things divide us like that from our own families. Please. Okay. We did read this, but I want to read it again because it looks like maybe they have added some stuff on here. This is the New York Post. Third Nancy Guthrie ransom note sent to TMZ. A new letter in the bewildering Nancy Guthrie case has been sent to TMZ, reportedly including a demand for 1 Bitcoin in exchange for information. The $66,000 payment would be in exchange for the name of the individual involved. Okay. In exchange for the name of the individual involved. Oh my God, girl. See what I mean? Please. I do want to put this on my map too. And we will, then I can show you my map that I started for the Guthrie case. You know how I do my little webs. I had to start one for this one. $66,000. It's like 226633. They love these repeat double numbers. Name of the individual involved. The letter, the third alleged note was sent out. Okay. They said they want 1 Bitcoin sent to a Bitcoin address that we have confirmed is active. It's a real Bitcoin address. And as they put it, time is more than relevant. Okay. So I want to put this in my map, in my web. So let me let y'all have a little sneak peek. Put a 2 in the chat for a sneak peek. Okay. So this is pretty much the whole thing right now. I have a couple of pictures here of Annie and Tommaso. Down here is that church. Let me see if they have a church figurine here. Oh, I don't know how you spell church, girl. No, let's see. Temple. No. Steeple. What about a cross? Huh. Building? Okay, yeah, we'll do this. Which one of these looks like a church the most? Maybe none of these really do. What's another? What about a dove? No. I'm trying to I like to put little. I guess I could make a church. Can I rotate this? Oh no, it won't let me rotate. Okay, anyway, this is the church down here. Remember, I was looking into that yesterday. Does she go to Good Shepherd? Does she go to St. Andrews? Is it in Tucson? Is it virtual? Is it in person? But then up here, I've started this section about Carlos. This was the Rio Rico area where he was detained. This is Tucson, where Annie and what's her name, Nancy, live. And then I got a few different little interviews here and just some little quotes. Felt like I was being kidnapped. Exclusive interview held against my will. I did just start this web like pretty much today. So now I'm going to insert that Harvey Levin interview that we just, oh, excuse me. No, I'm not. This is, hold on. Let me make sure I got the right thing here. The New York Post. Actually just want to $66,000. I'm just going to take a screenshot. I'm going to do a little live map web building here. The name of this program, y'all always ask me, it's just a free one on Apple or Mac. If you have like a Mac product or Apple product, like an iPhone, MacBook, probably they could get in there and see it. But I mean, if the FBI wants to look at my web, and it helps find Nancy, that's probably fine. Okay, so I'm going to put this, I put this right here because I want to start keeping track of these ransom notes and how much they're asking for and things like that. So let's start a profile for the possible people over here on this side, the possible subjects, suspects, etc. We'll put this here and then I'll put like $1. And then I can, wait, there's my $1. I'll make it green. Okay. So this is going to be the ransom note section. Okay. So now that we've done that, let's go back to the news and see if there's any more breaking news updates. New York Times. Let's try that. They do have a new update now for real. Okay, so it's just a little bit of a think piece here, but I do think it's interesting for context. It says, digital currencies like Bitcoin are hard to track and often used by extortionists. A Bitcoin wallet listed in a note claiming to be from Nancy Guthrie's kidnapper has received a small payment, according to a Tucson, Arizona television station, thrusting cryptocurrency into the center of a case that has gripped the nation. The episode highlights why digital currencies have become a common tool in ransom demands and how difficult they can be to trace. Several news outlets received a supposed ransom note last week demanding payment to a Bitcoin wallet. One of them, K-Gun, a Tucson television station, said on Tuesday night, last night, that the wallet received a payment for less than $300. It remains unclear whether the person who sent the note is actually connected to Nancy Guthrie's abduction. Since Bitcoin emerged in 2009, it has become a common payment method in extortion schemes, including ransomware attacks and kidnappings, because it allows transactions to be conducted outside the traditional financial system. Unlike bank transfers, Bitcoin transactions do not require names or physical locations. They rely instead on a string of characters known as a Bitcoin address. The other alternative option is if you're a kidnapper, for example, you're engaged in some other form of ransom demands, as you ask for a briefcase brimming with cash to be dropped off somewhere. But even that, y'all, cash has numbers on it, serial numbers. I'm not, a criminal minded person, but I would probably say like, I don't know, gemstones or rare art or something, something that's like, I guess rare art is easy to, everything is traceable now. Gemstones have a GIA number. I mean, all of this stuff is traceable. This requires physical contact. Someone has to leave cash. Someone has to pick it up. Bitcoin can operate across countries, geographies, continents, and so on. Okay, well, we all know a little about Bitcoin now. Okay, thank you, Brianna. Have I seen Jeffrey Epstein email saying Brittany is a clone? No. Please send that to me. ThatSurpriseWitness@gmail.com, because I have searched the Epstein files for the name Brittany, for the name Spears, for the word clone, cloning, cloned, and I never saw nothing like that. Thank you for the $1.99 super chat. Thank you to Amy. Becoming a new member. Thank you to Lindsay for the $1.99. Maybe he's a man with snatched eyebrows. Could be. Thanks so much to Meg being a member for 2 months. Not sure if you already mentioned this, but Savannah interviewed 6 Epstein victims on the Today Show. Just thought that was an interesting side note. It is very interesting. Still digital, still traceable. They're saying I took criminal minds class. Okay, let's see if there's any more. Let's go to our other sources. We do have an update from CBS News 8 minutes ago. Oh, I guess it's not that much of an update. How many days since she has been missing? 10 days. We're on the 11th day today. The search started that night. Authorities confirmed the following day her disappearance was being treated as a crime. As of today, authorities have not identified any suspect. So these are the live breaking news updates that I do have. These are the sources that we have been reading from today, this morning on the live. This is NBC News. We've been reading the live breaking news updates from NBC News. We've been reading, although we haven't really gotten anything recent, from the New York Post. We also have up here the New York Times. All of these different ones are doing updates, live updates, as well as we have up here CBS News. Now, this was from Fox News where Harvey did his interview. Let's go to JLR Investigates Twitter. He's there on the ground and okay, what's this? Could be completely, unrelated. He put this up, JLR, some man, poor guy. Imagine you're just like going like pick up your Facebook marketplace purchase of like 5,000 boxes of something. And you're like, JLR Investigates is out there taking a picture. Some man arrived to Nancy Guthrie's next door neighbor's home and is loading boxes into his vehicle. Okay, that could end up being important. We have an hour ago. Oh, TMZ did finally write an article. Let's read the TMZ article. I also want to put that on my web real quick. I'm gonna not do the whole switch over the screen and all that. But just know I put this article link on my little web. Okay. New note demands 1 Bitcoin to rat out suspect. I'm just reading the actual TMZ article. I don't expect there'll be any necessarily new information, but I do want to read these things as they come in. There's a new note in the Nancy Guthrie case, but this one doesn't seem to be from the kidnapper. Instead, it's from someone offering to give up information on the kidnapper. It'd be your own people, y'all. TMZ, it could be fake too, like a hoax, because somebody has already been arrested for allegedly being like a fake fraudulent hoax scammer, and trying to get ransom money, and he didn't have nothing to do with it. TMZ received the note just before 5 a.m. Pacific time, which would be 8 o'clock in the morning Eastern. The sender claims they've tried to reach Charles Cameron Guthrie. He's Savannah Guthrie's brother. Also tried to reach the sister, Annie, by email and text. Now, what I do find interesting is he didn't try to reach Savannah. The note goes on, if they want the name of the individual involved, then I want, this is a quote. This is a quote. I got to put this in my freaking, hold on, let me put this in though. If they want the names of the individuals involved, then I want 1 Bitcoin to the following wallet. Time is more than relevant. Oh, girl. There's a legitimate Bitcoin address in the note, and it is a different address. Okay, so he told Fox News and them he wasn't comfortable saying it, but it is a different address. So now we do have breaking news update, TMZ, even though he wasn't comfortable saying it on Fox News, for some reason they are saying it in their coverage of it here, and they're saying it's not the same Bitcoin address. So it does appear like it's not this kidnapper, but the kidnapper could have a few Bitcoin addresses. I mean, this could be a whole entire big scheme. This could be a huge, what would you call it? Ring. This could be like a scammer ring for all we know. Someone said, why not just call? Brianna said, why not just call the FBI and get the 50,000? Somebody was saying earlier, you don't always get that money. And the reward is just like up to 50,000. They forwarded the note to the FBI. It's unclear if the sender of this note is legit, but interestingly, 1 Bitcoin is worth about $66,000 right now. If you recall, law enforcement is currently offering a $50,000 reward for information leading to Nancy's kidnappers, and it is up to 50,000. So just to be very, very clear, it's not 50,000. If you give us a tip, we're going to get $50,000. It's you'll get something. This comes less, maybe you'll get something. This comes less than 24 hours after a flurry of activity in the case. On Tuesday, the FBI released the first images of the armed individual who showed up on Nancy's doorstep. Then in the evening, cops detained a person of interest, a delivery man who was pulled over in a Tucson suburb. After questioning him, though, law enforcement released the man, who told reporters he didn't even know who Nancy was. Okay, so that was the TMZ update. Thanks so much to Brianna. Is it Brianna or Brianna? For the $1.99 super chat. Email sent. Okay, I'm going to check that out. And I know a lot of y'all are wanting me to talk about the Britney Spears catalog sale. I'm just a little bit beside myself on that one, and I need a couple moments to process, but I will be covering that, and I will be going over it. Okay. I don't know if this is true or not, but I have no problem believing it. Apparently, the McDonald's worker who turned in Luigi for the reward never got the reward because she called 911 instead of calling the FBI to give the tip. Okay. Okay, good. Scammers are the ultimate scumbags. It's true. It's true. So let's go back to JLR Investigates page and see. Brian Enton's out there too. Okay, let's watch this actually. So I just I didn't end up here on purpose, but this lady posted, Jen said, I posted this on other platforms and the speculation is wild. This is an interview with a local and JLR Investigates on the 8th. So 3 days ago. So it's a minute and 39 seconds long.
How long have you been living here?
I've been living in Tucson for about 36 years.
What do you think happened to you? As you being a Tucson resident, what's your gut telling you?
My gut is telling me that it's the brother-in-law or the son-in-law.
Son-in-law. Why?
Just too many things. You know, he had pictures. There was a picture or two that came out, and you haven't seen him since. You haven't heard from him.
Radio silent.
The other people have, the family, Savannah and, her brother and sister have done things. He hasn't been involved in any of it. And I don't know if he's trying to stay away from the limelight or what it is, but I can tell you this.
But you see what I mean? You see what I mean? Like, Cameron's wife wasn't on camera. Savannah Guthrie's husband wasn't on camera, but this poor guy, he's supposed to be expected to be on camera or else he did it. That don't make sense to me. That don't make sense to me. Now, what I wonder, I mean, Savannah Guthrie has a first husband. Anyway, I digress.
Just a random stranger come up through here and just target a 84-year-old woman.
This was planned.
Planned,
That's my gut. It's not just random. I think it was something that, and like they say, the first people that you need to talk to is the family members.
Someone said it's this guy. Someone said this guy's the guy. Look at the quarter zip, same quarter zip. Stop.
I do not, especially after last night. It's probably one of the craziest things I think I've ever seen. I've been through the, Gary Triano bombing. I've gone through the, seen the Elizabeth Sells case, but nothing quite like this.
So this is a good point. Cojones. That's such a funny word. This is a good point. Is my mama still in the chat? My mom told me yesterday, the day before, she was like, there's a guy like lurking around the scene. And you know how like in all these, my mom is like, I think my mom has probably watched more hours of true crime than anyone on this planet. I don't think there's an episode of a true crime YouTube or a true crime investigation Discovery or a true crime HBO any of it that my mom hasn't seen. I think she's seen most of these episodes twice. She has been watching this stuff since freaking FBI Files or whatever it was called back in the day. So she like knows the patterns the cops be looking for and things like that. And so she was like, how people come back to the scene. They like to insert themselves into the investigation, et cetera, et cetera. And she was like, there was some guy lurking around and he looked weird. He kind of looked like the guy in the video. I don't know when she sent me that. Is she in here? Did you ever send me that? I don't think she ever sent it to me. Maybe she did. I don't know.
A sheriff's officer to be at the U of A basketball game last night instead of doing his job. I think it's pretty disgusting. I understand people need a break, but this is not the time nor the place to do that.
She said she did send it. Okay. Well, send it again because I don't know where it is. Okay. I'm going to look for some more breaking news updates. We have NBC, nothing new there. New York Post, nothing new there. I'm clicking now on the New York Times. 10 minutes ago? No. CBS. No. Okay. So did we finish this TMZ article? This comes less than 24 hours after a flurry of activity in the case. The cops detained a person of interest, a delivery man. Yeah, we read this. Okay, let me go to more breaking news updates on the Nancy Guthrie case. Oh, we were looking at JLR Investigates Twitter. He posted a picture of some guy. He is so funny. Some man arrived. Okay, going live soon outside Nancy's home. We will see what today brings and follow the action. So he's been there. He's been there every day. Still a lot of media. This is an hour ago. Still a lot of media outside the home of Nancy Guthrie. And this one right here looks like Annie. Or resembles her, I should say. The last two big cases, Brown University, Mass Pew Pew, and Nancy Guthrie, they detained someone, then released them. I think that also happened with Charlie Kirk. Remember that guy stood up and said he was the one who did it? I did it. And it ended up being he was a PDF file. Now they got that man in jail, but he didn't do it. He just was like being a distraction. No activity going on this morning around Annie and Tommaso's home. Few media vehicles are out here. Okay, so I'm so thankful for him. Look, we got Nancy's house, a lot of people out there. Yesterday, Annie's house in her neighborhood was really the place to be. But not as much activity going on out there today as of an hour ago. Let me look up some more breaking news updates. CNN. Do I have CNN up? No. Okay, so let's pull up CNN. Okay, we're adding them to the roster. 1 minute ago. TMZ, we know that already. Okay. Okay. CNN, they do have some interesting extraneous details. Okay, let's start here. 2 hours ago, CNN reported no law enforcement activity seen today at the home of man briefly detained. After Tuesday's whirlwind of activity in the investigation of Nancy Guthrie's disappearance, the scene is quiet this morning outside the home of the man who was briefly detained for questioning. I mean, that's one way to put it. Briefly detained. It seems pretty dramatic, the whole thing, what had happened, but the whole family got traumatized. All of them had to give their phones up. The son got handcuffed. The other one's at the station getting questioned. They took the car. They brought it back. On a serene street in Rio Rico, Arizona, the wrought iron gates were closed to the driveway of the house, occupied by, they closed them gates. No more today. Who identified himself to reporters as Carlos. He told CNN affiliate KNXV he was questioned about his whereabouts for 4 hours Tuesday and then released. No law enforcement vehicles were seen in the neighborhood this morning. A delivery van with a name matching the company Carlos said he works for was parked along the street next to the home. Very important. Okay. Somebody was saying something about, you got to remember this man has a van. Let me update I'm going to put this on my map. I got to start putting stuff on my map. Because what happens is then I can't find where I read stuff because I'm just going. And it's like, oh, no, I read that somewhere. GLS van outside his house, parked on side of street, February 11th. Okay. No law enforcement vehicles were seen. Carlos told reporters yesterday he may have delivered something to Nancy's home at some point, but he did not know who she was and had no involvement in her disappearance. Investigators acknowledged detaining a subject for questioning yesterday, but they have not commented on the account given by Carlos. Okay, so these are the ones we have on the roster: NBC News, New York Post, New York Times, CBS, CNN. So let's see who else is doing live breaking news updates and get those in the roster. Oh, also, we have JLR Investigates, Twitter. Oh, God, that bug is back. Oh, my Lord. That thing's got to get out of here. I need one of those zappy. One of those. Oh, I think it's 2. No, it's just one fast one. Okay. Nancy. Live. CNN, Fox News, The Hill. Okay, let's go to YouTube and see if JLR Investigates is out there live on the scene. Maybe we can get some of that guy. Oh, Rabbit's live. Shout out to Rabbit in the chat, or not in the chat, in her own chat. Okay, here's
reward out and say, hey, I want the reward. I get the reward if I tell you the information, if there's a reward already out. So there you go. Why would a guy send TMZ one Bitcoin request of 67,000 when they can just go to the FBI and get 50,000?
I don't think they can. So speaking of people saying that this is some type of distraction from the Epstein files, girl, look at this. Pam Bondi is live testifying before Congress right now. That's interesting.
Dude, whoever turns this person in, if it's like a person, not only would they collect the reward, but they would have book deals, movie making opportunities. They'd be plastered all over the TV as a hero. They'd probably set up a GoFundMe and they would probably get whatever issue they have, whoever turns the person in.
But who knows if it's real? Okay. So let me see. Okay, I guess let's do another walkthrough of live breaking news updates, and then I may take a little hour or two break and then come back. I do want to be covering this, all day. I want to keep my stamina. I don't have that type of stamina like whatever JLR is on over there. Oh, I think we got another live breaking news updates sources spot. Oh, it's not that live. 3 hours ago, though, almost 4. Let's read this. Okay. Woman says authorities searched her Arizona home in Rio Rico. Investigators spent hours conducting a court-authorized search. So there is a little bit of conflicting information. Was it court-authorized? Did they have a warrant? Did they not? Had a location they said was connected to the individual who was detained for a few hours for questioning during a traffic stop yesterday. A woman told reporters that her daughter's husband, who works as a delivery driver in Tucson, was a target of Tuesday's search in Rio Rico. They're going in and out of my house, taking a lot of pictures and everything, she told reporters. Like, I told them we're not hiding anything. She said authorities searched her home after they received a tip related to the Nancy Guthrie investigation, but the man was later released. We have a breaking news update from NBC. It's not that breaking. In a Tuesday post on Instagram, Savannah Guthrie shared the FBI video of masked potential subject. Someone out there recognizes this person. We still believe she is out there. Bring her home. Anyone with information, please contact 1-800-CALL-FBI. That's 1-800-225-5324 or the Pima County Sheriff's Department at 520-351-4900. Now, y'all can call who y'all want, but the Pima County Sheriff doesn't really inspire very much optimism in me. I would just call the feds at this point. Okay, let's see. Let's update the New York Post. I don't think they've said anything in an hour. No, they haven't. Okay, New York Times. Updated 19 minutes. Oh, that's a cool pic. Law enforcement officers remained outside Nancy Guthrie's home in Tucson, Arizona, late Tuesday night. That's Nancy's home. What if Nancy just took a Uber back to her house and just shows up with a suitcase? Like, what? I was on vacation. It's not funny and I shouldn't joke like that, but I just want to keep hope that possibly she's somehow alive, but each day, each moment that passes, it does statistically become more unlikely, or it does statistically become less likely. Anyway, okay, so that's it. That's the whole thing. She disappeared early. Okay, so let's go to CBS. CNN. Releasing images can alert the suspect, but it's necessary to get leads. CNN analyst says this man right here looks like my grandpa and his brothers. That's what they look like. While releasing images and videos like the ones of the masked person outside Nancy Guthrie's home, it can alert the suspect in the case. However, the payoff is putting those images in front of more people, according to CNN senior law enforcement analyst Charles Ramsey. When you get to a point where you just don't know who they are, you don't have any leads that you believe at the time will lead you directly to that person, you're going to release the image to the public. When you crowdsource something like that, it means an awful lot. 2 hours ago, CNN did update that there is a makeshift display showing support for Nancy Guthrie's return as the case enters day 11. Dear Guthrie family, your neighbors stand with you. We got Mother Mary here. She's praying. Ave Maria, amen, and all that. We got a prayer candle. We got please pray on a rock. Girl, somebody done Etsy. Personalized some tree bark. Look at this. This is cute. Little angel. Some rocks with hearts. That's sweet. A makeshift tribute outside Nancy Guthrie's home shows support for the family as the investigation into her abduction enters its 11th day. A CNN crew at the scene this morning saw a man leaving some pink flowers next to the candles and signs reading, "Please pray and your neighbors stand with you." The makeshift display has grown by a few items since a couple days ago. Investigators have still not been able to locate the mother of the Today Show host, Savannah Guthrie. Authorities have encouraged anyone with information to call. TMZ says it received a note demanding Bitcoin for more information. I bet you they paid it. They're reporting it received a bizarre letter via email this morning from someone purporting to know who Nancy's kidnapper is and demanding a single Bitcoin. They're not saying they are the kidnappers. They're saying they know who the kidnapper is and will give that information up for 1 Bitcoin. They said they want 1 Bitcoin sent to a Bitcoin address that we have confirmed is active, a real address, and as they put it, time is more than relevant. The FBI offered a $50,000 reward for information leading to the Guthrie's recovery. A single Bitcoin is currently worth around $66,000. TMZ said it handed that email note over to the FBI. When asked by CNN about the new note, the FBI said, "Outside of our previously issued statements, we have no updates to share at this time." It received the note just before 8 a.m. Eastern, and the sender claims to have unsuccessfully tried to reach Savannah Guthrie's brother and sister via email and text, but not Savannah Guthrie. That's what I find to be interesting. CNN, like, why wouldn't you? She's the most famous one. She's the most forward-facing one. Why wouldn't you also, if you're going to reach out to the other two and TMZ, why you didn't reach out to Savannah? That's kind of interesting to me. CNN has not been able to independently verify the existence or authenticity of the note and has reached out to the Pima County Sheriff's Department for comment. Okay, let's go to JLR Investigates Twitter. See if there's anything over here to update us on. Last thing he posted was the man. Some man. Okay, I'm gonna call it a wrap for shift number 1 here shortly. I do need to go powder my nose, as it were, and eat my little breakfast snack. I mean, it's already noon, so I guess my lunch. But I am going to send y'all over to Rabbit because she is, we like ping pong back and forth. She is over there live right now about the case as well. And any breaking news over there, I'm sure she will be covering. I'll come back in a couple hours, probably. I mean, if something pops off, I'll come back immediately. I do suspect we'll get a few more breaking big updates today. I do want to be covering those for y'all. If you wouldn't mind, it would be very, very much ever so helpful if you could go and make sure, just look down below, make sure you liked my video, first of all, and make sure more importantly, that you are still subscribed. I've been getting a lot of comments and stuff lately saying, of people saying, you know, I got unsubscribed. I didn't even unsubscribe. Whatever. Make sure you're subscribed. Also, there's this button, the bell, the notification, because I do go live more than once at a time. And because I do post more than one video, sometimes a day, they're not going to actually give you the notification for all of them unless you turn on the all notifications section. But the most important thing here, please do make sure that you are subscribed. Please. Thank you. Thanks so much to M. Todd for the $3 super sticker. And I do have y'all going over there to Rabbit after this, redirecting over there. So drop some rabbits over there and I will be back later with more breaking news updates as the case and as the day progresses. That's all I read for this one. In the meantime, facts ain't defamation. Neither are opinions. Everybody is innocent and should be presumed innocent until proven guilty. Love you, mean it. Okay, bye.